I'm going to tell you a story today about a little boy from Paris. His name was Pascale. Pascale was a happy little boy. He lives at home with his mother. He went to school. He went to church. He played. He was a happy little boy. But he loved toys. But he didn't have many, because this was the 50s in Paris, so it was very poor then. And he loved dogs and cats, but he didn't have any dogs and cats because his mother didn't want dirty dogs and cats in the house. Do you have any dogs or cats in your house? In the house? Dogs live outside the house. Dogs don't live inside the house. They shed hair everywhere. They chew on things, and they leave presents for you on the floor. Those aren't presents. You don't want those. But one day, Pascale was walking along, and he looked outside of his house, and you know what he saw? No. A red balloon. He saw a red balloon, and he thought it was so wonderful, so he tied it, and he walked along with the red balloon, and he decided to take it to school with him, but he got to school. How do y'all get to school? Walk? Is it uphill both ways in the snow? Walk. Does anybody ride the bus? You ride the bus? When I was your age, well, my mom taught, so I rode my mama. But when I didn't, I rode the bus, and that's what Pascale did. It was in Paris, and they didn't have a regular bus. They had a tram. It was like a train that ran through the street. And I have a train right here. It's a big green train with a conductor. And you know what the conductor told Pascale? You can't carry the balloon on the train. Why? There's no room for the balloon. You can't have dogs. You can't have large packages. You certainly can't have a balloon on the train. So Pascale didn't ride the train to work, to school. The train went along without him. And you know what he did? He ran behind it as fast as he could. As fast as he could. And he kept the balloon with him the whole time. He ran with the balloon. And he finally did get to school. And he was a little bit late to school. But when he got to school, he thought, I can't take the balloon with me to school. What will I do? What will I do? What would you do? Pop it! He liked his balloon. He wasn't going to pop it. So what he did? Tie it up outside. You could tie it up outside, but what if the wind blew? What if it got away? What if someone else found it? Luckily for him, there was a groundskeeper at the school, so he handed it to the groundskeeper and said, Mr. Groundskeeper. For some reason, he spoke with a German accent. Mr. Groundskeeper, would you carry the balloon for me? But of course, the groundskeeper did have a proper French accent. But of course, certainly, certainement. So he kept it for him, he held it for him, and here's the groundskeeper. He's invisible. He's sitting here. There's the invisible groundskeeper. He's holding the balloon. Can you see the invisible groundskeeper?
Yeah.
You can see the invisible groundskeeper?
Yeah.
Get that checked. There's nothing there. See a doctor immediately. Okay, so Pascale went to school. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to wait about 7-8 hours when you get out of school. Fast forward. He got out of school. Thank you, Mr. Groundskeeper. But of course, certainement. And he happily went home. He went home, where he took the balloon into his house.
Oh.
And do you know what his mother said?
Get the balloon out of the house.
That's exactly what she said. You can't have balloons in the house. And so she threw the balloon out of the house. But the balloon didn't fly away. It stayed right outside of his window. It was a magic balloon. The balloon was alive. So Pascale saw the balloon, and he took it, and he pulled it into the house, and he hid it in his room until the next day. And the next day, when it was time to go to school, he said, "Balloon, come with me." And the balloon came with him. And he said to the balloon, "Balloon, you follow me." And so the balloon followed him along. It followed him along. It followed him along. I don't have a magic balloon. I have to use fishing line. And then it came time to ride the train. And this time, he got on the train, and he was riding in the train, and you know what the balloon did? It followed him. So around he went all the way to school, on the train, with the balloon, and as it was running through Paris, everyone watched. The train doesn't come back in this particular story, so we're going to leave it over there. Is that okay with y'all? Outstanding. I'm not going to pop it. We're just going to leave it there. And we'll pretend like it's not there anymore. This is called suspension of disbelief. Can we suspend disbelief? Everybody can? Outstanding. So what everyone saw is the balloon flying along the streets behind the boy. And everyone stopped and they looked. There's a balloon flying down the street. What would you do if you saw a balloon flying down the street?
Catch it.
Catch it. My first thought would be, there's some sort of weird air current has an extreme mutual buoyancy. But that's not what happened. It was magic. But the balloon stayed with Pascale. But I like where you're thinking. Some people do want to catch it. Pascale went to school that day, and he walked right into school. And you know what happened? The balloon followed him to school. Now, can you imagine if there were a balloon in your school going down the halls? What would happen? Exactly! That is what would happen. Except in France. You know how they say no in France? No. No, no, no. It's N-O-N. No. No. In this case, it wasn't the teacher. It was the principal. And he said, Pascale, you may not have the balloon in there. So he took Pascale and he locked him in a room in the corner. But the balloon followed him. And he stood right outside of the corner, trying to get in, but he couldn't. And the principal went on his way. Walking on his way, and he met the gentleman with the shoe business. And his friend was watching him. The principal just kept talking. Didn't listen to the principal. And so he took the balloon and tried to take the balloon. Eventually he caught it and he went back and he got Pascale. Pascale, you get that balloon and you go. And so he did what he wanted to do in the first place. He went home. Except the balloon followed him. So around he went through the streets of Paris with his balloon behind him. Sometimes the balloon would try to hide from him. He would look for the balloon, but it would always come back to him. And so Pascale went home and threw the balloon away outside. And that was the end of that day. The next day, he and his mother went to church. Do you think Pascale left his balloon at home?
No, his balloon followed him.
No, his balloon followed him, that's right. So he went to church, and he was in the church, and of course the balloon followed him right to the church. Now this was in France in the 50s. And in France in the 50s, in the church, sometimes balloons got tangled with other balloons. There was a guard at the church, and you know what the guard did? No, we didn't pop the balloon. You go, Pascale, you may not have the balloon in the church. You can get the balloon, you go to church. And so Pascale took the balloon, and the guard, you know what the guard had? A sword. Actually, it was a halberd, but a sword's easier to make. He had a sword. He said, "Oh, you go." And the soldier waited. And he talked to his mother. He said, and his mother was. This was the door. Wouldn't make it a church. In the meantime, Pascale had wandered on his way. But his mother had given him a coin to put in the collection plate. You know what Pascale did with the coin?
She's got her eye.
He didn't keep it. He didn't get a ride. He saw a bakery. Have you ever been to a bakery? Do you know what they do in a bakery?
They cut stuff.
Well, they bake. It's just a bakery. So what they do? Sweet rolls. So he saw in the window. He said, "Balloon your shoes." So the balloon, they stayed outside, and he looked in there, and while he was in there, some other boys from Paris, from the same neighborhood, they saw the balloon. And what you said the first time? Couldn't pop it. Why does everyone want to pop it? What does the balloon do to you? What did it do to you? It's a nice balloon. They did. They tried to take it, so they ran after the balloon, and they chased it, and they tried to catch it. But it was hard to catch it because they had to wait on the end, and they tried to catch it, and eventually they didn't catch it. But Pascale caught up to him, and he ran, no, and he got the balloon, and he ran away, and he tried to run from them, and they kept running and following, and he lost them. And then he went for a walk. The balloon fell from the plane, and he saw a marketplace while he was eating his sweet roll. And then he saw something very interesting. A little girl with a blue balloon walking along. And he was walking this way with this balloon. And she was walking along. The little girl was walking with her balloon. And as she was walking and Pascale was walking, his balloon followed her balloon. So he went and he grabbed his balloon and he ran back and took the balloon, and the little girl was over there. And her balloon, with her rig, followed him. Well, she grabbed her balloon, and they both went on their way. She went over there. Wow. Pascale was meeting the little girl. The other boys saw the balloon. Grabbed it. They grabbed the balloon. And they ran off with it. And Pascale ran after them. But they ran and they ran and they ran. And they kept chasing him. And they kept chasing him. And he sat with his broken balloon and he was so sad. And he heard something. From all over Paris. He heard little sounds. What's that? Oh, what is that? My balloon, my balloon. He kept hearing that, and you know what happened? He looked over. And balloons from all over the city came and they gathered around Pascale. And he looked and he saw all of the balloons and he grabbed them all. He grabbed all the balloons as many as he could. And the balloons lifted him up. And he flew away and had a wonderful adventure. And that is what happened to Pascale.